Silence is wisdom until purpose summons your voice. And that is not just a sentence, it's a lifetime lesson. It's the kind of truth that doesn't make sense until you've spoken too soon, reacted too fast, or poured too much into places that didn't value what you had to say. It's a lesson carved by time, shaped by wounds, and refined by the fires of experience. It teaches you that not every word needs to be spoken and not every moment demands your voice. There are times when silence is the loudest strength you can hold, and patience is the deepest form of wisdom you can wear. There was a time you used to speak to be understood. You wanted clarity. You wanted peace. You wanted them to know your heart, your intentions, your side. But the more you tried, the more you found your words falling on deaf ears, twisted in translation, turned against you. And you realize that trying to make people understand you who are committed to misunderstanding you is a battle that leaves your soul weary and your voice wasted. That's when silence found you. That's when you discovered the art of holding your tongue, not out of weakness, but out of incredible strength. Silence is not an absence of voice. It's the presence of wisdom. It's not that you have nothing to say. It's that you've grown wise enough to know that not everything needs to be said. Not every insult requires a rebuttal. Not every confrontation needs a counterattack. Not every question deserves an answer. Sometimes the best response is no response. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is to let silence speak for you. People will try to provoke you. Life will test you. The enemy will press every button to get a reaction. But when you've been through enough, when you've healed through enough, when you've learned the value of your peace, you stop offering free access to your voice. You learn to protect it. You learn to discern. You learn to wait, not in fear, but in wisdom, because you know that when purpose calls for your voice, it will be clear. It will be undeniable. It will be needed, not wasted. There's a difference between silence born from fear and silence born from purpose. The first is avoidance. The second is alignment. When you're aligned, you don't have to scream to be heard. You don't have to argue to be right. You don't have to fight to be seen. Purpose gives your silence power. It turns your restraint into a roar. It turns your stillness into strategy. And it gives your voice authority when you finally choose to speak. But that moment comes only when it must. Purpose summons your voice, not pride. There are days you want to respond out of frustration, moments when your emotions beg to be heard, when your flesh rises with fire. But then something deeper settles you, a stillness, a knowing, a reminder that your voice is a vessel of destiny, and you do not cast pearls before swine. You do not water weeds. You do not throw your fire into chaos that only seeks to consume. You wait, you hold, you let the moment pass, and in that pause, you protect your power. Purpose doesn't always speak first. Sometimes it waits. Sometimes it watches. Sometimes it allows time to unfold, because timing is everything. You can say the right thing at the wrong time and lose its impact. You can speak from truth but speak too early and it falls flat. Purpose waits for the door to open. Purpose knocks but doesn't kick it in. Purpose doesn't demand attention. It commands it when the time is right. And when that moment comes, your voice carries weight, not because it's loud, but because it's rooted. It is rooted in truth. It is rooted in experience. It is rooted in knowing who you are and what you carry. You no longer speak to be liked or to win or to be approved. You speak because there is something eternal rising from within you that cannot be held back. And when it comes, it's not noise. It's not performance. It's not empty words wrapped in emotion. It's the sound of heaven echoing through a vessel that waited until it was ready. That's what happens when silence births wisdom and wisdom births timing. You see, the immature voice wants to be heard immediately. It screams in pain, it yells in anger, it cries out in confusion, and there is grace for that. But you don't stay there. You grow, You learn. You develop the discipline to know that not everything needs to be shared in the moment it's felt. Feelings pass, emotions settle, but words spoken cannot be retrieved. And you've learned to be slow to speak, not because you're unsure, but because you're sacred. Because what you carry is sacred, and it must be handled with care. There are rooms that don't deserve your voice. There are conversations that don't deserve your truth. There are people who have not earned the right to hear your story. And silence is your shield until the right moment comes. You don't shrink back. You don't hide. You wait. And when you speak, your words walk in with dignity. They don't beg to be believed. They don't argue for validation. They stand on their own because they are not trying to impress. They are trying to impart. When purpose summons your voice, it comes with clarity. There is no confusion. There is no panic. There is a stillness that undergirds the sentence, a fire that doesn't burn you, but fuels you. You are not rushing. You are releasing. You are not reacting. You are revealing. You are not defending. You are declaring. That is the difference between the voice born from emotion and the voice born from calling. One dies after the moment. The other echoes for eternity. The world is loud. People are loud. Opinions are loud. But don't mistake noise for depth. Don't let the volume of the world pull you out of your posture of wisdom. You do not need to outshout the chaos. You need only to speak when you are sent. And when you are sent, mountains move, chains break, blind eyes open, not because you shouted, but because you waited until purpose filled your lungs. In the silence, something sacred happens. You are not doing nothing. You are listening. You are discerning. You are preparing. You are aligning your voice with truth, with timing, with integrity, and that makes all the difference. You don't just speak truth, you become it. You don't just echo noise, you become the sound of clarity in a world of confusion. That is what silence gives you. It gives you the ability to hear what others miss. And when you finally speak, you say what others can't. So hold your peace. Don't give in to every invitation to react. Don't surrender your serenity to smallness. Don't trade your power for petty arguments. There is purpose in your silence. There is weight in your waiting. There is strength in your stillness. Let your silence be your sanctuary until the moment you're called to step forward. And when that moment comes, walk in with the authority of one who has heard from heaven. Let others wonder why you didn't respond. Let them misread your silence. Let them write their stories about your stillness. You are not responsible for their conclusions. You are responsible for your calling. You are not avoiding the fight. You're preserving your fire. You are not ignoring the moment. You are preparing for the divine one. You are not silent because you are scared. You are silent because you are sacred. And when the time comes, your voice will not tremble. It will not stutter. It will not beg to be received. It will carry the sound of someone who waited, who watched, who worshiped in silence until the heavens whispered, "Now." And in that now, your voice will do more than defend. It will deliver. It will do more than speak. It will shift atmospheres. It will not be just a sound. It will be a signal. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not invisible. You are in hiding for a holy reason. Your silence is not a setback. It's a setup. For there is a moment coming, and when it comes, the world will not be ready for the sound of someone who's been forged in silence. You will not have to announce yourself. Your words will carry the weight of someone who didn't rush their season, who didn't bow to pressure, who didn't bend to distraction, who waited until purpose summoned their voice. And when that voice is released, it will not return void. It will be the sound of obedience, the sound of wisdom, the sound of a soul who did not mistake movement for meaning, who did not let ego outrun destiny, who did not let insecurity speak before purpose called. And in that moment, all of heaven will echo with you. because you waited, because you held your peace, because you knew silence is wisdom until purpose summoned your voice. Preserve your energy for what truly matters. That's not just advice. It's a command to your soul, a quiet wisdom wrapped in simplicity, a truth that waits patiently until you've wasted too much of yourself on what never deserved you in the first place. It's something life teaches you not in a day, but over years, through disappointments that drained you, through distractions that delayed you, and through people who never saw the cost of what you gave. There comes a time when you realize your energy is your currency. It's not just about your time, it's about your attention, your peace, your emotions, your strength, and your spirit. And when you give those things to everything and everyone without discernment, you will always feel empty, scattered, pulled in every direction but forward. You will wake up exhausted without moving, confused without reason, and drained without doing anything of value. That's what happens when you don't protect your energy. You start life thinking you have endless supply. You say yes to everything. You try to please everyone. You run after what glitters. You respond to every call. You argue to be heard. You chase validation. You pour and pour until you're depleted. Then one day, you reach for yourself and realize you're gone. You gave so much of you to things that never gave back. And that is when the shift begins. That's when you start counting the cost of every yes. That's when you start asking yourself, does this align with my purpose? Does this deserve my energy? Will this feed my soul or fracture my peace? That's when you learn that not everything is worth your reaction. Not every argument needs a reply. Not every invitation deserves your presence. Not every opportunity is meant for your journey. And not every person is worthy of your emotional investment. You begin to understand that energy flows where attention goes, and wherever you direct your attention, your energy follows. So you stop giving front row seats in your life to people who wouldn't even stand for you. You stop trying to convince people of your worth. You stop pouring into conversations that only leave you frustrated. You stop letting your day be dictated by drama that isn't even yours. You stop defending your peace to people committed to misunderstanding you. You stop sacrificing your sacred for someone else's chaos. Because peace is expensive. It's not passive, it's intentional. You have to fight for it, guard it, and choose it daily. And protecting your energy becomes a discipline, a spiritual act. It's not selfish, it's survival. It's not isolation, it's elevation. You don't shut down, you shut out what no longer serves your growth. You don't disappear. You detach from what was draining your divine assignment. You're not avoiding life, you're anchoring your soul. There's a power in saying no. There's freedom in walking away. There's healing in unplugging. There's strength in silence. Because when you stop entertaining what drains you, you start experiencing what builds you. When you stop chasing what distracts you, you start attracting what aligns with you. When you stop pouring into empty wells, you find your flow again. You rise, you move differently, you breathe deeper, you stop surviving and start thriving. And not everyone will understand your shift. Some will call it cold, some will call it distance, some will call it arrogance. But they didn't see what it cost you to show up every day while empty. They didn't see the tears behind your smile, the fatigue behind your strength, the chaos behind your calm. They didn't see how you gave and gave, hoping someone would finally see you, appreciate you, respect you. But now you see yourself. You respect your peace. You value your presence, and that's all the permission you need. Preserving your energy is about choosing what matters. It's about showing up where you are valued, not just needed. It's about giving your best to what feeds your soul, not what fractures your spirit. It's about knowing that your destiny cannot be fulfilled if your days are filled with distractions. It's about creating boundaries that protect your purpose, not just your schedule. And it's about realizing that rest is not a reward, it's a responsibility. Because when you are well, you give well. When you are full, you pour from overflow. When you are whole, you attract wholeness. But when you're drained, you attract drama. When you're scattered, you find chaos. When you're depleted, you mistake noise for love and busyness for purpose. That's why it's crucial to pause, to breathe, to assess, to audit your energy the way you would your finances. Who's making withdrawals from your soul without ever making a deposit? Who's overdrafting your spirit? What habits are bankrupting your joy? What cycles are stealing your clarity? You don't need to do more. You need to do what matters. You don't need to please everyone. You need to be at peace with yourself. You don't need more followers. You need more focus. You don't need to chase opportunities. You need to become so aligned that opportunities recognize you. And that starts with energy. That starts with intention. That starts with deciding you're no longer available for what dishonors your growth. And it's not just people, it's mindsets. You must protect your energy from your own thoughts, from your self-sabotage, from your overthinking, from your fear of missing out, from your need to prove, from your impulse to explain, from your guilt for choosing yourself. You must guard your internal atmosphere the way a gardener protects the soil. Because what grows in your life is shaped by what you allow to plant in your spirit. There is power in walking away. There is peace in doing less. There is clarity in silence. There is growth in solitude. And there is restoration in stillness. You don't need to always be doing. Sometimes your healing is in the pause, your breakthrough is in the boundaries, your peace is in the pruning, and your energy will guide you if you listen. Your body will whisper before it screams. Your soul will tug before it breaks. Your spirit will nudge before it shuts down. Listen to the signs. When you feel drained, it's not a mystery, it's a message. Something is off. Something is out of alignment. Something is taking more than it gives. Pay attention. You were not created to run on empty. You were not created to constantly be available. You were not created to perform for approval. You were created to be whole, purposeful, and present. So stop apologizing for needing rest. Stop feeling guilty for not responding. Stop explaining your absence. Stop proving your worth. You don't owe anyone access to you just because they want it. You owe it to yourself to protect what God gave you. And that includes your time, your gifts, your focus, your spirit. Not everyone is your assignment. Not every battle is yours to fight. Not every conversation is meant to be had. Some things you just release. Some things you simply outgrow. And when you preserve your energy, you become dangerous to every force that wanted you distracted. Because now you can see clearly. Now you can hear truth. Now you can move with purpose. Now you can say no with confidence and yes with intention. You are no longer a victim of emotional exhaustion. You are now a steward of your own soul. You do not bend for validation. You do not shrink for acceptance. You do not scatter your light to fit into darkness. You are focused, you are grounded, you are discerning, you are aligned. And from that place, you operate in power, real power, the kind that doesn't need to control others, but controls yourself, the kind that doesn't react to noise, but responds to purpose, the kind that doesn't run in circles, but walks in clarity. The kind that knows energy is precious and refuses to waste it on the unworthy. There will always be demands on your time. There will always be distractions dressed as opportunities. There will always be voices trying to pull you in 100 directions. But when you know what truly matters, you stop entertaining what doesn't. When you know what you're called to, you stop answering calls that don't align. When you know where you're going, you stop detouring for detours that lead nowhere. And the world might not understand, but peace will, and your soul will, and heaven will, because you are no longer trying to survive by pleasing others. You are now thriving by pleasing God and protecting your purpose. And nothing, no pressure, no person, no past, will have access to your energy unless it aligns with your destiny. Preserve your energy, guard it with intention, spend it with wisdom, direct it with clarity, and pour it into what truly matters. Because you are not just a body with tasks, you are a soul on assignment, and everything you touch should reflect that purpose. Everything you give should be from a place of fullness, not desperation. Everything you engage should be worthy of the light you carry. This is your moment to choose wisely, to protect fiercely, to live intentionally, to honor your journey, to fuel your fire, and to finally rise, undistracted, undeterred, and unapologetically focused on what truly matters.